I see that is some breaking news from the council. What's happening?
Yeah, we're very excited. We today we had a special meeting that we held just about 2 hours ago, and during that special meeting, the city council came together and passed several important things. But one of the most important is that we agreed that we would waive any penalties or fees that would have otherwise been assessed for late county tax payments. So Westchester County taxes are paid directly to the city of Yonkers. We collect those taxes and we pay Westchester County. So our Westchester County taxes to the city of Yonkers are due on April 13th, which is next Monday, the day after Easter. And so what we said was, please, we encourage people to pay their taxes on time if they can afford to. But if you can't, we're going to give you a little bit of time, and we're going to waive taxes and penalties and fees if you pay late up until about 60 days. And so the city of Yonkers is still responsible and obligated to pay Westchester County roughly around May 23rd. And we owe them roughly 49 to $50 million at that time. So we're still obligated to pay that amount. But what we're saying, look, if you're having a tough time during COVID-19, we know it's a very difficult time. We understand that. And so we want to extend this small, but we hope meaningful extension to people.
No doubt, no doubt. And what other things did you guys talked about today? Other stuff that was passed?
Sure. So what we also passed was in buildings, there are buildings that any building that has 3 or more residents, we're encouraging is the word there. But we're encouraging property owners to make sure you can get out, clean the hallways, clean the common areas. As we know, COVID-19 stays on surfaces for up to a certain period of time, depending on the surface. But we want to encourage property owners to get out there and clean those common areas. Now, this is not something that's very easily enforced by the city of Yonkers. It's not something that we're asking the building department or code enforcement to go out and check, because that would really be risking their lives by doing so. So what we're just asking is property owners, be responsible. You're a property owner. You have people who live in your buildings or on your property. Please just go out and clean your common areas as best as possible. And it's really just a responsible thing to do. In addition to that, we've also asked New York State and Westchester County to consider opening a testing site here in Yonkers. Yonkers is the 4th largest city in the state. Right now, we have about 1% of our population that has currently been tested positive. And so we're asking both Westchester and New York State to consider opening a testing site here and to make testing more available. Because the more people that we test, the more people either that come back as positive or that fortunately may come back as negative. It just provides us with more data, provides Yonkers with more data, it provides the county with more data, it provides the state with more data, and then we can make really a good determination on next step. And the best way to move forward and to lead is with good data.
Now, John, just in regards to not that you passed legislation, but this is a recommendation to the landlords.
Right.
Let's take this opportunity to remind people that we are all in this together.
Right.
It's not just the landlords. Pull your weight and help as well. Don't just say, look, I live here, I pay taxes, I pay rent. You got to do it, because this is not just the landlord's lives at risk, it's your own. So
right.
Do all that you can.
Right. And that's what's important. So the city of Yonkers, I think, has taken a very good step. Both the Public Works Commissioner, Tom Meyer, and the mayor came together, and they came up with this really good idea about converting an old fire engine into a cleaner of some sort. So what they've done is, instead of filling it with water, they've taken this truck that was previously in the fire department, and they now fill it with this Clorox and water mixture that is potent enough that they can go out and spray public areas and reduce the risk of the spreading of COVID-19. And
Now,
so, yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry.
so I think it's, at the very least, it's a really great example of how the city of Yonkers is taking a step to try to reduce the spread of the virus.
Yes. Now, John, you mentioned this. This is a question from Hector Santiago.
Sure.
He's saying there is a testing site at St. Joseph's Hospital.
Right.
Do you mean an additional site?
Right. So both St. Joseph's Hospital and St. John's, if you're admitted there, you'll be tested if you believe that you have the virus. But what we're asking is that there's a separate site.
What do you mean, John? If you go to St. Joseph's and you test, you don't get the results right away. You go home.
No, you won't get You won't get you won't get the results right away. But there's a testing site, right? So if you go to St. Joseph's Medical Center or you go to St. John's Hospital, and you are there, there's an opportunity to be tested. What we're asking is similar to Westchester Medical Center, where you can make an appointment and drive on up. We're asking that a site similar to that is opened here in Yonkers, a separate site. So whether we find a public area or a place within the city, then it's run, whether it's run by the county or Westchester Medical Center or the state for that matter, there would be a site available that people would be able to make an appointment and go on in and be tested.
Now, John, have you and your colleagues at the council have thought about looking at this from a different perspective? We are at war. We are at war with an invisible virus. The virus is the enemy, and we need to do all that we can to eliminate the enemy.
Right.
People that are outside congregating, people that are going to supermarkets in loads, massive people at the supermarket, kids playing basketball, those are kind of helping the enemy because they can spread the disease. And as the administration be saying, stay home,
right.
stop the spread, save lives. But with these things that we've been seeing, we're not stopping the spread because we are not staying home and we're exposing others to this virus. It's time to get the National Guards in Yonkers?
No, I don't think it's time to get the National Guard in Yonkers. I think our police department has done a good job at trying to break up any large groups. If you go to a supermarket, and I've been to several of the supermarkets, for example, Acme on McLean Avenue, which is in my district. I spoke to the manager there last weekend, and I explained to them that many of the people who patronize that supermarket are concerned with the number of people who are allowed in at one time. And since then, they've now implemented only so many people to be permitted into that supermarket at a single time. One of the things that I would like to introduce to my colleagues on the city council and get a feel of how we can roll this out. And it's not something that I want to encourage that we enforce locally, because again, we want to be able to protect both our first responders, and we want to be able to protect those who would otherwise go out and enforce our laws, like code enforcement or the building department. But being able to work with supermarkets and retailers who are essential businesses, maybe we could take a look at what other municipalities are doing, like in Miami, and require people that if you're going to go into a retail shop, if you are going to go and shop, you need to wear some sort of face covering, whether you're wearing a mask, like the N95 that I'm carrying here, or if you're wearing just a scarf or a bandana or something around your face. And there's some really creative videos on social media that can explain how to use a hair tie and a bandana and wrap it around. But maybe we need to look at requiring all of our retail establishments to enforce a requirement that if you're going to go in and shop, then you need to wear some sort of face covering.
I agree.
Right? And the CDC has already come out and they've said that they strongly suggest that people do that. So let's enforce it here locally.
Okay. So, John, I think everyone on this page and everyone in our city knows that the National Guard are not healers. And
Right.
the question was not addressing, do they come to Yonkers to heal anybody? That was not the question. And I think we all know that. The
Right.
point was, come to Yonkers to assist the law enforcement enforcing and keeping people out of parks, churches. There is a church in Yonkers on South Broadway that actually covered before they didn't have curtains on the windows. Now they have curtains to prevent you from looking inside because the congregations are still going on inside the church. So yesterday we published a video of the supermarket not far from Yonkers Brewery that had loads of people inside shopping. Like this is a normal Thanksgiving week that you shop for, to take stuff home.
Right.
So there is lots of things that National Guards could do because look, our police department, there is many officers, I think about 40 that have been contaminated. Many are coming
Right.
back. Uh, but they might need assistance.
No, I think our police department has the situation under control, and I don't think we need to bring in the National Guard at this point in time. I think between the initiatives that have been rolled out by the police department and supported by the administration, we currently have the situation under control.
Do we,
Yeah,
John?
no, we
What?
do, and I think what we need to do, whether it be in an instance like COVID-19 or we are talking about building department infraction or multiple people living in a house or something otherwise illegal happening, is we need to be able to alert our police department. We need to alert our city officials, and when you do, and they're brought to light on these types of things, then they can address them. So, for example, the church on South Broadway that you mentioned, if you or someone were to alert our police department, I'm sure they'll address it right away.
But John, National Guard, they can do a whole bunch of things, not just law enforcement. As Actor just said,
Right.
we have a large population, senior citizens, that cannot come out for obvious reasons.
Right.
Perhaps National Guards can help delivery of goods to those homes. They can assist, in many, many ways,
Right.
not necessarily law enforcement, but with other issues that.
So I will say that our Office of the Aging, which is the department that assists senior citizens around the city of Yonkers, they are delivering hundreds of meals every single day to our senior citizens who can't prepare meals, who don't have local family or are homebound. And what they've now done is they have police and firefighters. I know our firefighters are out there volunteering on their own time to deliver meals for the Office of the Aging to our senior citizens. So we are able to get them meals. A program was rolled out by the Office of the Aging where if you're a city within city personnel, if you're a city employee, so you're on our books, so to speak, and have certain background checks completed, then they will connect you with a senior citizen here in the city of Yonkers. So whether you're just picking up the phone every single day to talk to them and see how they're doing, and just have a conversation with them, or if you're going shopping for them and just leaving their food at the door, to the further extent where our Office of the Aging and in some cases our fire department on a volunteer basis is running the food out to our seniors. So we still, I'd say we don't need the National Guard to do that. We have our police department, our fire department, our Office of the Aging. We have people who are volunteering, our city employees, to take care of our seniors. And I'll give you a good example. So yesterday, as you know, I run a restaurant and a business. And in my business, I often have to go to the restaurant supply. And so yesterday I went to Restaurant Depot, and with me, Kelly Chiarella, the director of Office of the Aging, said, I want to take a ride with you. And so we went down to Restaurant Depot, and someone donated $500 to the Office of the Aging, and she was able to buy apples, oranges, carrots. We bought about 400 rolls of toilet paper. And so we're able to now go and take that donation and spread it out across hundreds and hundreds of senior citizens who need that assistance. And Kelly and the Office of the Aging have the assistance and help and volunteers to be able to deliver.
Now, John, your business, it's on a 10701 zip code.
Right.
It also happens that 10701 zip codes, that's where the majority of the positive cases come from. The majority of the deceased are blacks and Latinos, minorities. I'm not saying Caucasians are not, are not part of the statistic, but the majority are those. What can you say? I understand that 10701, that's where the majority are, because that's where the majority of the people live. Large buildings, large gatherings. I understand that, but there is a lot of things that are being done that shouldn't be done, like the supermarket gathering, playing, get together in the lobby. What can you say to those people so they can understand that this crisis, it's serious, but it's deadly serious. It can kill you.
So I've only confirmed and maybe have read, as you have, in the Journal News about how COVID-19 is affecting more minorities than Caucasians. So I'll take your word for that.
It's all over the news today.
Right. So in addition to that, I was at the ShopRite on Prospect and Riverdale Avenue today. There was a long line outside of the ShopRite, and there were people that were in the ShopRite, and they let people in at a very steady pace, going in and out of the supermarket.
Today, after we released the video yesterday.
Well, potentially, but even last week when I had to go there and I had to pick up a few little things, I think last Friday or Saturday, there was still a line outside. Now, there were a lot of people inside. The lines on the to pay to check out were not very long, but there were people inside. I think at least I will tell you, the times that I was there at that particular ShopRite, it was controlled, and it could have been the time of day that I was there, or who was working the door to let people in and out. But with that said, it's still important that we communicate to everyone in the city, regardless of Hispanic or Black or Caucasian. It's important that we communicate to everyone in the city that please stay home. Stay home. If you need help, if you need assistance, there are resources out there. There are people you can reach out to for assistance to be able to supply you with what you need. If you need to go food shopping, and this is what I think a lot of people don't realize, is that so many of our residents live week to week, right? Whether it was COVID-19 or pre-COVID-19, you live week to week, and you work, and then you shop for what you need for the next week because you were paid. And so that hasn't changed. And that's why once a week we see a lot of people coming out of their home to go shopping, because they physically can't afford to buy 2 and 3 and 4 weeks worth of shopping, so that they're not out there every week. So we have to have, we have to sympathize for that and understand that. But at the same time, limit the number of people going into any retail establishment. Make sure you're wearing a mask. If you can wear gloves, wear gloves. And just be conscious that just because you're wearing gloves, you should still not touch your face. The virus is still easily spread. The virus could potentially be living on the gloves. I'm not going to. You probably can't see it through the camera, but my hands are extremely dry. My hands are dry because all day long I am washing my hands. All day long I am spraying alcohol across my hands, because I want to make sure that I'm not spreading COVID-19, regardless of where I go, whether it's the supermarket or my business, or most especially at home.
Now, have you spoken to the mayor lately? And the reason why I'm asking is because people are concerned with the mayor. We just were notified today that his bodyguard, Detective Sullivan, has been contaminated with this with this virus. We are all praying that he pulls it through. He's a great guy, and we hope that he fully recovers quickly. But he was the mayor's bodyguard, and in constantly together with the mayor. How is the mayor? Have you seen him?
Yeah, I spoke to the mayor earlier today. He was in high spirits, other than having heard the news of Billy. Bill is a very long term Yonkers resident. He's been here for his entire life.
Yes.
I remember Bill when I was probably 13 years old, and I would go roller skating in the summer at Murray's skating rink, and Bill would be DJing up there, and his family owned Sullivan and Sons on Yonkers Avenue for a number of years, and Bill is through and through a Yonkers person, and whether you know Bill or not, and you're listening to this right now, I would ask that you say a prayer for Billy, because he and his family are going through a tough time. Billy is probably one of the kindest and nicest persons you would ever meet. He is an extremely dedicated Yonkers police officer, and extremely dedicated to the city of Yonkers. He is the epitome of Yonkers. So if you're listening to this tonight, say a prayer for William Sullivan, Billy Sullivan, and God willing, he's going to pull through it.
Yes. If you don't know Bill, you don't know what you're missing. Great guy. And Bill, we with you and praying with you, for you, and hoping that you fully recover from this. You're all in this together. And this is an enemy, a common enemy, regardless of your political inclination, regardless if you're white, black, purple, or whatever.
Right.
Bank account. This virus is not biased. It hits everyone. So, Bill, pull through, and we will talk one of these days. Now, John, is there anything else that you would like to bring up?
No, I would just like to say that we're coming up on what we hope to be the plateau of COVID-19, but that doesn't mean that it's still not going to spread. So it's important that if you're listening to this, stay home. Stay home, stay home, stay home. If you need to go out once a week to get groceries, go out once a week to get your groceries, wear gloves, wear a mask, make sure you stay 6 feet away from one another as best you can, and be socially distant. And more importantly, the sooner we do that, and the more we listen to the CDC and the health department, hopefully the sooner we're going to get through this. But I think we're making all of the right decisions. One of the questions that I asked the mayor today was whether or not the county health department or anyone thought that, or was anyone concerned that we've now hit 1% of our population that have been confirmed and positive or tested positive for the virus. And the county health department is not overly concerned in terms of that number growing to 1%. But they are still encouraging people, and please, they're pleading to people, which I'm going to do. Just stay home. Please stay home. If you need to order out your dinner, order out your dinner. If you need to order your groceries in, try to order your groceries in. If you do need to go to the supermarket or to a local market, wear a mask. It doesn't need to be a mask like this. It could be a bandana around your face, because there are people who are asymptomatic, which means that you're not showing signs of the virus, but you do carry the virus and you don't want to spread it. So go out, wear a mask, wear gloves, come in, make sure you sanitize everything, wash your hands often. And the sooner we do that, then God willing, the sooner we're going to get through this.
The suggestion to get masks, it's important. We should all get masks. But John, you're forgetting that there is no masks.
Right.
Okay?
Well, but you don't have to necessarily wear a mask, because the whole idea is it's not quite that you're going to catch the virus. It's more about you spreading the virus. And so you can wear a scarf, you can wear a bandana, and there's some really creative videos on YouTube to show you how to put these things together so that this way they stay on your face. Yeah. But
I get your
Really?
point. Your point is protect yourself.
Just right.
A bandana
others,
around your
and
mouth,
protect others.
and others. A bandana around your mouth is better than no bandana at all.
Right.
Now, John, that is something that we've been here over and over.
Sure.
Suggestion is stay home. You're not going. Most people are not going to work because most places are closed.
Right.
So that creates another problem in Yonkers. Parking space. Why isn't the city suspending the meters, okay, and all parking in a crisis? Because people are not going to work. They need to park the car somewhere.
Right.
And now, on top of everything, you don't have a job. You don't have money. Now you're being issued tickets that you have to pay for later on. Why isn't the city suspending that, since this is a crisis that affects everyone in many ways?
Well, the city's being considerate of whether, where and when you're parking. But there are a lot of small businesses that are just surviving on quick takeout. Whether forget if you're a restaurant, but it could be a supermarket, it could be a deli, it could be the pharmacy. And so what we want to also be able to prevent is that we want to give people the opportunity where they can park quickly and go in and out. Now, if we just waive all metered parking, well, that's going to limit people from having the ability to park closely to a retail establishment and go in and out if they need to. And so you don't want to do that, because the next thing you know, now you have someone parking further away, double parking, making a much longer trip into the supermarket. And the longer you're out and about, the more prone you are to potentially catch the virus. So what we want to do is we want to say, look, yes, we understand that people are home more than they're not. And that's good. You want to be home more than not. But with that said, it's still important for us to maintain, especially our retail areas, so that this way, if there's a pharmacy or a market or a deli, you can run in and out a little bit quicker.
So, John, are you actually telling me that they're not suspending the parking just to help the small business, because people want to go there for a quick pickup and leave?
Well, most of our metered parking is in the area where there are retail shops. So if you're looking at McLean Avenue, for example, or Yonkers Avenue, which are both in my district, Yonkers Avenue and McLean Avenue, which are mostly filled with metered parking, they're in retail thoroughfares. And so, you won't find metered parking on Seminary Avenue. You won't find it, on some of the side streets, right?
Well, John, Seminary Avenue, those people there, they have their own garages to park the cars. But the people who live on Main Street, they don't have their own garages. The people who live on the new Main Street, they don't have parking on the apartments. The people that live on Palisade, and those are meters there. And those people that live in those buildings, they don't have spots. So I think it's time to consider. This is a crisis. It's not the time to make money. This is a time to understand that people are not going to work. They have cars. They need spots to park the car.
Right, and this is not a money grab. The idea of it's certainly not a money grab. It's more about the idea of being able to move the parking around retail establishments in and out a little bit quicker. And this is not 24-hour parking either at the meters. Mm-hmm. There comes a time in the evening where the parking enforcement is not enforced, and the parking is free, and you can park overnight.
Well, John, thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate it.
I don't know if there is anything else that you want to bring up. And
no, I just want to say Happy Easter to everyone. If you celebrate Easter, Happy Passover. It's important, although you might not be able to celebrate with your family face-to-face. There's so many creative ways to celebrate right now. So, I'm sure you're with one another, if not physically, spiritually, and you're together. My family and I have some family in Ohio and New Jersey and spread around the United States. And we were texting each other today to say, all right, what time on Sunday can we all try to do a Zoom call? And we never get together on the holidays, but it's something that now, we're going to say, all right, we're going to make an effort to get together. So try to, you can make an effort to get together, even though you're not together physically.
John, this virus has taught us a few things, that next time something like this happens, we should be more prepared. Now, Hector Santiago asks one last question.
Sure.
Are the city council meeting going to continue, or is this going to be what's your position on that?
Yeah, we're going to continue our city council meetings every other week as we would normally do. And they'll be available on Facebook, on WebEx, on television, on our 2 cable channels. And we're going to work to hopefully, have meetings face to face in the near future. But of course, we have to wait and see what the CDC says, and collectively we'll make those determinations.
Well, there is some people here saying, ask about the board, ask about the board. I don't know what they're referring to. Do you, John?
I don't know what they're referring to as the Board of Education. I'm not sure. The Board of Education is appointed individuals that are, I think, doing a very good job with the information that they have. And just like the administration and the city council are going to have to make decisions as they come up and with the information that they have. And information is changing every single day. So I think we're doing a good job. What's important is get in front of the students as best as the faculty and teachers can, give them the information that they can, and we just want to do what we can so that this way our students don't fall behind.
Okay, well, John, I appreciate you stepping forward.
It's my pleasure.
Feel free to call me at any time you have anything of importance that you want the people of Yonkers to know.
Thank you.
You call me, you give me some time, and if I'm available, we jump on us as we did today.
You're the best. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Take care.
God bless. Thanks.